Welcome to the second week of this semester, Fall 2020. This is my video lecture for Chapter 2, Evidence-Based Practice. If you can see from your screen, this is the modules, second week. Everything that you need should be in the instructions. I'm just going to click for the sake of showing it. Actually, I should be doing this as if I was you. So I'm gonna switch to the student view. So having done that, I'll go again and show you. Although we have the objectives and the assignments. By the way, I do provide you with a PDF of the second chapter. Remember that I did that for the first chapter, and also the PowerPoints for both chapters. We're not really gonna get into really deep on chapter 8 because we're gonna revisit it later in the semester, but there's certain things that I would like you to go over. There's a video here about evidence-based practice, which I'll just click in it. Well, I guess I should add that this was recorded in 2007, or at least posted in YouTube in 2007, but I probably cannot put it better that she is doing on this video. I would, I mean, if I could, I would require you, but to watch it. I guess I am requiring you. I just, I'm not seeking any proof that you did, but I really encourage you to watch it. Let me, not to give you just because I may have let it play certain sections of the video, but sort of entice you to actually watch it. So just gonna. So I'm teasing you. That's a very important lesson there of the terms in our field. Let's see. Oh, that's another good point, but I'm just giving you a tease. So let me see if I can tell when she switches subjects here. So obviously there are 4 barriers that are easily overcome. So I would like you to watch this whole video and find what are those. Let's see. That sounds very interesting, right? So don't miss the whole video. Yeah. Oh, isn't that interesting? So let me keep sort of giving you that preview. Yeah, she said that already, but I noticed that when she extend her arm and click on the keyboard, she's switching topics. So let me. What was she talking about there? I wonder why. I wonder what. I'm sorry. So, hey, interesting. Um, and then there's this two additional videos that I actually recommend. This is a peer review in 3 minutes. This is more for your literature. I'm not gonna play it, And then this is the literature review and an overview. This is sort of what is yet to come, so to speak. But it's good that I gave you pieces of information that it will help you, write your paper and the steps in between. Okay, I think I said enough of this. So basically, if you see everything else, it's also provided individually. I might as well talk about this because it's not something that it may be clear for you when you read the chapter. So the discussion here is formulate an evidence-based practice question to inform your decision about the most effective intervention to employ and da 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 da. Okay, so how do you formulate an evidence-based practice question? Well, this is where I get nerdy here. So there are basically two, I'm going to call them acronyms. The first one is COPES, and the second one is PICO, or PICO, like pico de gallo when you go to a Mexican restaurant. So COPES stands for Client-Oriented Practical Evidence Search. So obviously the client is the most important part, right? Now the client could be an individual, right? It could be a family, it could be a group, it could be an agency or an institution, or a neighborhood and community, etc. Like you're gonna hear in the video that the lovely lady created 13 years ago. EBP is not only for research. You use evidence-based practice daily as a social worker, or may use or could use. So let's go with the first couple of letters, the C and the O for COPES. That is the client type and the problem. So you're going to include in formulating this question, what kind of client. Well, that's going to be easy because I'm telling you that it's a 6-year-old African-American boy. Now, the problem, well, you can read in your discussion, the problem, all right? So the second step is what might you do, so it is, identifying a problem or a strategy, I should say. Well, or identifying or making sure that you're calling. I'm struggling to remember an expression. What I mean to say is that are you using an instrument to sort of measure the level of PTSD in the child? I mean, maybe there's you're going to find out that even though we constantly refer to children having PTSD, it was actually developed for adults, but that's another day, another topic. So there's many instrument. Sometimes they're called inventory. How are you going to screen the subject, right? Your client. So, and this is what can be the alternative course or courses of action. You could provide this type of therapy, or treatment and so on and so forth. And the last part, practical evidence, practical is actually, it's not the last part, it's the middle, which is the P. Practical is, what do you want to accomplish, right? What do you want to accomplish? Now, the E and the S, which is evidence search, it should be clear that is, you need to search for evidence, like you do on the web all the time. Or, sometimes it's not necessarily that. It could be, maybe the kid has, the 6-year-old has some records at the hospital, maybe with the police, maybe with another social worker, etc. So when I said evidence search, should not only be limited to, the web or even the instrument that you're using, but also, what are the, other information that you may have, and, the records. But again, it also involves, getting the best possible, evidence, which it could come from the library and, journals, etc. Anyway, let me finish at least with COPES. So there are 5 general type of COPES question. So you can, when you go to do the exercise number 1 to formulate, you can sort of approach it as, effectiveness, type of question. How effective, is whatever treatment or etc. Prevention, you can approach this question from the, I guess, the concept of prevention. You can also approach this question from the assessment point. You can also, the 4th one is the description. There's nothing wrong with just describing, right? And the last but not least, is risk. You can approach this question, constructing this question from the perspective of what are the risks for this child, right? Let me, just for the sake of time, you can actually Google more information about, COBS. Um, so maybe the best way of Googling it may be, if you write COBS, you may get a lot of hits. So just say COBS, and, maybe how to formulate a practice question or an evidence based question, something like that. That includes both the word COBS and, EBP. That may give you more information. Let's move on to PICO, right? Let me get my notes. PICO stands for Patient Intervention, Comparison, and Outcome. So it's the PICO framework. So again, if you want to search more information on this, you would write PICO framework to formulate, a EBP question, something like that. So the patient, which is your client, right? Or the consumer. When I say that, you could, you don't need to be in clinical practice to have, somebody who's sort of getting benefits from your service, right? So again, in this case, it's easy because it's a 6-year-old African-American boy. The intervention, it requires, are you going to do what kind of treatment? Is it prevention? So include that in the question. The C of PICO is comparison. How's that compared to other options? And then the O is the outcome, which it refers to the goal or goals that you want to achieve with the intervention. So it may sound complicated, but if you put it together, you may say, if the example that I'm not going to give you the answer to the 6-year-old, right? So I'm going to give you another one. So if an elder resident residing, let me start again. If an elder residing in a nursing home, guess what that is? Number one, the P, right? Participate in a pet therapy program. What do you think that one is? 2, intervention. And attempts and adult day programs. That is 3, the comparison. I know you have to sort of extend the meaning of comparison. Which intervention will result in lower depression? That is 4, which is the outcome. So let me read that one again. If an elder residing in a nursing home, right, patient, it actually, if you go back to COBS, let me see, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's included maybe in the practice, but it's really the intervention. Anyway, they're all very, there's a lot of overlap between these two sort of frameworks. So where was I? So, and then participates in a pet therapy program, that is 2, which is the intervention, or attend, you notice the word or, right? Or, which is a comparison, right? Or attends an adult day program, or, right? 3, 4, comparison, that's a C. Which intervention will result in lower depression? That's 4 for the O of outcome. Maybe, let me see if I can Well, I think that's enough. Like I said, really look at the discussions, as a way to develop your expertise and your toolbox. So I just gave you two toolboxes, which are the COPES and the PICO framework. All right, I'm already going over my 20 minutes, but basically, this is done to, help you with the, assignments. So, let's see. I may add a little more, but, everything else you can do easily by reading the chapter or reading, maybe you can have your computer open with the PowerPoints and then follow with the book. And remember, you don't have an excuse not to have the book because, well, please, I want you to have it by now, but if you don't, I already give you the chapter. It's an older version or an older edition, but you have everything that you need. All right, if you have any questions, please, we'll meet again Friday. So, let's use that time to ask questions, but you can also communicate with me in whatever matter or way possible. Don't send me a carrier pigeon because they cannot come in the building, but then try to send me smoke signals either because I won't see them, but phone, internet, Google Hangouts, all of those. All right, you keep staying safe and healthy. Bye.